Welcome to I Love Cal City. I'm James Robinson, and today we're conducting interviews of would-be candidates for our city council. Could you introduce yourself? Tell us why you came to California City and what keeps you here.
My name is LaShelle Cooper. I am the appointed incumbent for the City of California City, currently seated as of March 2024. I moved here in 2020 with my family, my husband, and my now 5-year-old son. And we purchased a home and grew to love California City based off of the peace that I could not acquire in the big city. I love the peace here, and this is what makes it feel like home to me.
So what makes you run for office?
So I was working for the City of California City in 2022 to 2023 in the planning department. And I have some very great friends that believed that I could do this position. And it took me 2 years to actually make a decision on whether I wanted to run. Once I was appointed to the seat, I realized wow, you're in a seat where you can advocate for people because I love advocacy. I've always done that from, I would say junior high school, just advocating for my friends, and then grew to my family. So the fact that I can sit there and listen to the people, find out what the people want, I felt like I could be that voice for California City.
Have you held public office before?
No, not prior to me being appointed. It never dawned on me to. I was into politics slightly, but never actually willing to run.
So, but you have held this seat for a little bit of time now.
It's been 6 months, yes.
Now, I'm sure that you had certain expectations when you came into the seat. How did those expectations differ from what you expected?
Okay, first of all, I do want to say the sacrifice. It was a great sacrifice because I have a 5-year-old. So that right there was unexpected because I didn't realize the work that it entailed to be a council member. It's not just about going to city council meetings. It's about diving into the most challenging problems that our city has, making the best decisions you could possibly make for a large group of people. It's always been me and my family managing us 3, and then prior to that, I have 2 other kids. So knowing that I have to be that person to be involved in making those tough decisions, I didn't think that I was going to be involved as deep as I am. It's so different looking on the outside in. It's a lot more than what you anticipate. And then when you come into a position where there are so many challenges within the city, it's like your wheels just start turning. As soon as I got in this position and realized, wow, this is a lot, my wheels just started spinning just immediately. So it's definitely different than what I had imagined it to be.
So let me ask, what makes you qualified for this position?
I believe I am a problem solver. I've always tried to solve problems. I can't solve them all, but I have definitely tried. I have resilience. I love community. I love engaging with people. I love talking to people. I like being innovative. I want to create ideas. I have a brain that never sleeps. So not saying that it's easy every night, but I'm always thinking of ways to improve upon California City.
In your opinion, what is the proper role of city government?
So I believe city government, for me, and this is my opinion, I believe we should always be an advocate for our constituents. I believe we are, yes, policymakers. We are to make the policies and maintain the policies that we put in place. But we also have to remember who we're putting those policies in place for. And again, I'm a big advocate for the community, and that's where my passion lies.
As a representative of the people, what method will you use to stay in touch with the mood, the interest, the concerns, and the desires of the public?
So I always put myself out there to say that I will always respond to emails. I will always respond to text messages, calls. I want to ramp up how often I go to the engagements, the events that we have in the city. I go to some. I also want to engage the community with some of my own events that I want to put on. Next month, I hope to have a story time. My 5-year-old is a published book author, so I want to bring the community in with the kids and have a story time reading with the kids and the parents, do a giveaway, and just get them to know who I am and introduce them to my family, because I feel they need some insight on who I am as a person, who I am as a mother, and then that will also give them some, background on why I'm here and why I want to take on this position again as councilwoman. So just inviting them in my family, inviting them into the things that interest the city, and then we can have conversation from there about what events going forward I want to put on and invite the community to.
Many council persons see the primary role as one of oversight of the Guardian's public finances. As a council person, what can you do to improve the quality of life in California City that doesn't involve our city budget?
I do want to focus on building relationships with the local businesses. The cities that we are surrounded by. I would love to, I'm already engaging with council members and trying to find out what they're doing in their city so that we can just have some options as to what we can do to increase the community. Because I know the community right now is probably in a little dark place because of our economic development and how we're not really growing as we want. So I think the first thing for me to do is just reach out to the businesses that we have here in the city, the nonprofit organizations, and see what I can do or how I can contribute to expanding upon that and getting them out there if they're not known in the city. Because I didn't even know about a couple of our nonprofit organizations, and it's just not being in that specific space or that specific environment, and I just want to be able to contribute in that way, because I don't think local businesses get enough. They're not shown enough. I don't know the owners of some of these restaurants that we have and the businesses that we have, and I think that they need to come into the limelight as well so that we can help their businesses grow before we start bringing in other businesses.
Which issue or issues do you consider the greatest facing California City, and how will your service as a council person address them?
So of course, we have always touched on, since I've been seated here as an appointed council member, we've always touched on the financial crisis that the city is in. And it seems like that's all we continue to touch on, and I know that that's important. It kind of reminds me of when COVID-19, the pandemic hit, and I know that was a devastating time for many, many people. People were losing their lives. But then it seemed like the world forgot about all the other diseases and illnesses that the world was going through. So I want to focus not just on the finances, but also, of course, the people. Like I said, I'm a community person. I want to bring community relations and have it thriving in the city. That's a big thing on your mental health. So I want to focus on public safety, community relations, senior enrichment, and definitely the kids in the community. I want to focus on all of those things to help bring some trust back into our city.
Persons running for office state that they will do. This wish list is generally what we all want. Wanting something and having a practical, workable plan to accomplish it are two different things. How will you accomplish the things we all want when others have failed at the same task in the past? What makes your plan different?
So my plan starts with listening to the community. I'm not sure what occurred prior to me getting here. But again, if we are to tackle on anything, I think community involvement is absolutely imperative. If the community doesn't feel like they're being heard or if they're being listened to, then that trust that I spoke about is not going to take place. They need to know that their voice is heard. They need to know that even if we can't give them everything they want, that they are being heard and being taken into consideration. It's just like anything in a household, in a friendship. If you don't get to the people and hear their voice and at least let them know, like, I hear you, we're working on things, compromise. If we don't get to the people and hear what they're saying, then I don't think economic development is going to help us. I don't think us just having financial sustainability is going to help if we don't have the engagement of the people.
During every election cycle, candidates promise to bring in new business to increase our tax base, yet no one has succeeded. Cannabis came, but the large promised revenue did not follow it. How will you bring business to California City?
So I know the company that we hired in 2020, I believe it was a 3-year contract. They supposedly researched and called and contacted different businesses that they wanted to come here, and that didn't go through. So it fell through the cracks. But my job now is I'm speaking with current economic development. I've already had a meeting with the president. I have a meeting to go to on the 26th, which I'll be in attendance there, giving them a briefing about what California City is doing and what we need, and just an update on California City, because he stated they hadn't had one in a while. So my goal is to work with AV Edge in Lancaster, because we are part of that Antelope Valley area as well. And just talking to our surrounding cities council members and seeing what they are doing, what they suggest, where we can obtain resources and other things that we might just be missing out on. I know I spoke with the president of current economic development, and he said he wanted to make sure we had a representative so that we wouldn't miss out on opportunities for California City, and I'm ready to find out what those opportunities are.
California City has gone through 10 city managers, interim and acting city managers in the last 7 years. We've experienced a similar turnover in department heads. What will you do to stabilize the city and maintain some continuity for us?
So what I do now is what I want to continue to do, and that's I have regular meetings with the acting city manager. I think communication is very important. I think talking to the employees is very important, just to see where their head is at, see where the morale is. I often ask the acting city manager, how are you doing? Then I ask, well, how are the employees doing? I know that it's just a tough situation for them to be in, not knowing from one day to the next what's happening. And I want to continue to keep that up if I'm reelected, because I believe that if we have updates from the city manager, if we are in close communication with the city manager, we working together is, I'll put an emphasis on together. It doesn't seem like we can get far if we don't unite in some type of way, just to make the city be sustainable mentally. I know we talk about finances a lot, but mentally I want that communication to remain open for any manager that we bring in, but that's in the works. So I'm hoping that we can provide some stability within the city very soon.
California City is in a financial crisis. We have not had a real budget in more than 2 years. We do not have liability insurance, placing the city at risk. We are behind on our bills. What can you do as a council member to create financial stability and put us on a sustainable track going forward?
So I know that in a lot of our meetings, we have a resident that constantly mentions the budget calendar. So I want to talk with the finance manager. I want to, again, like I said, I have very frequent meetings with the city manager. So I want to talk to them both to see what we can do to implement some sort of budget calendar to hold everyone accountable, for transparency for our community, and then to be able to approve the budget in a more efficient manner, because it doesn't seem to ever be on time. When we need to approve it, it's not ready. And I know that there are factors involved, but so that we can all work together to get that implemented, I think a budget calendar would be something that I would want to discuss with the acting city manager and the finance manager together. With
current staff cutbacks, California City will need to be creative in meeting the needs of our community. What will you do to fill the gap?
California City is community driven, and that's a lot in part because of how small we are. Because we're small in number but significant regardless of the number size. And I feel volunteer initiatives can actually help our community if we can find those volunteers, if we can help our city grow with knowing that we have those financial setbacks with the budget cuts, with the less employees. I feel like our volunteers would definitely do us some justice in getting our city at least to a point where we can be proud of where we live. It takes a lot. It takes a village. That's the thing that growing up we used to always say when you're being raised by your parents. Like, it takes a village. It's not just your mom and your dad. It's your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunts, your uncles. So I think that if everybody comes together collectively, we can all at least begin the process to healing California City. It's a lot of hurt going around, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. But I'm willing to actually be a part of that movement. And I just want us all to work together. You'll probably hear me say that often.
That's good. The Measure C special parcel tax came to an end. The cannabis industry tax has never materialized in any significant way. A new special tax has failed twice now. What is your plan to maintain a functioning city with even fewer funds?
Okay, one thing I know, just based off of sitting on the dais, is listening and at the council meetings, we definitely have to lower our in-house costs. There are a lot of things that we were paying for that we've cut down on, but I know that we've talked to the acting city manager about figuring out what we need, what we can do away with, or if we need to hire somebody else that with a lower cost. So we're working on things now together to see what in-house costs we can actually minimize or cut down, because it's no easy. It's challenging. It's not easy at all to have to even say we need to go from having $10,000 of household or work supplies, and then we have to cut it down to $3. Like, it's not easy either way, because we've been functioning on that much for so long. So we just need to work with the in-house costs first. I think once we work inside out, then we can cut some of those costs drastically.
Would you support a new parcel tax?
No, not at all. No, I wasn't here for the first one this past, I think it was it March? I believe it was. I wasn't here for that one. So I was thinking, coming in, I'm like, okay, fresh perspective. Maybe we can get it to pass again, and the residents have spoken. I can't do that to them again.
Below are some common concerns. Please address each and how you as a city council person can affect it or not affect it. The first one is available healthcare services.
I believe I can affect it, but I need to talk to the residents. Healthcare goes, it's such a wide range of services, but I need to speak to just the different groups of people here in California City. What do they need? I'm not sure what they need, and I can't assume. So talking to the seniors, talking to the parents, the families, talking to employees, finding out what healthcare are you lacking out here, because I know we have to drive far for healthcare services. I know it's probably not enough out here for them and for us. I'm a resident too, so we're in this together. And I know that they have a mobile van that comes to the library, but I want to find out exactly what it is that they need. And that's the way you find out, is by talking to the community.
How about the general poor appearance of our city?
Okay, so we introduced looking into ARPA funds this past city council on where we want to use it. And I did mention about beautifying the median, but then I was told that once they remove the lights from the median, they're going to have to do some work there first. But I would love to be able to use ARPA funds if there are any left over from the splash pad and skate park. And if that's not possible, just bringing in, going to just different resources and seeing how I can apply. I started a grant writing course. And I'm almost certified, and I won't be certified until December, but I jumped right on it and trying to get my grant certification so that I can at least attempt to apply for some grants. With my very beginner grant writing skills, I'm willing to dedicate my time to try to apply for some of those grants. Going through CAP, which is the company that we currently use, they typically get the $1 million grants, and we could stand to use the $10,000 grants too. So I'm definitely going to talk to Letitia about that, our city manager, to see what we can do with CAP since we're paying them. If they can bring in or look for some smaller funds that will help us with the smaller projects that California City desperately needs.
What about our deteriorating streets? potholes?
That's not an easy fix, but I will say, I've even turned in applications or forms when I see potholes. It doesn't even necessarily have to be my street. To turn in those forms is imperative. And I know that's a temporary fix, but it's better to have that temporary fix than to have destruction of cars or, somebody falling in the potholes, God forbid that we don't want that to happen. So I say, fill those forms out to the community, and then follow up. I want the community to follow up if it's taking too long to get those potholes temporarily fixed until we can find a better solution. I know the city is working hard to, have the grants that they need to fix the streets. That might not happen overnight. But in the meantime, if you see a pothole, regardless of whether you stay on that street or not, report it, follow up. Again, I'm always available for a follow-up. If you need to email me, message me. I have a city cell phone. I'm on the website. You can do those. Also advocate for others as you advocate for yourself. And then I can follow up as well. It takes a matter of teamwork to get our city on a good track.
So Sacramento's been pretty hard on California City. Laws and unfunded mandates from Sacramento, which work to the detriment of California City. How will we deal with those?
This is what I've noticed being on the dais. State mandated requirements, we can't get past that. We have to pretty much abide or pay citations or fines when we're not abiding by those state mandates. The issue I even have is we are getting these state mandates at the last minute, and it's not preparing the residents or giving them enough time to say, well, when did this happen? I believe at the start, the minute that we receive news about this is state mandated, I believe we need to inform the residents in the community so that they can have time to prepare for things that will come upon the city because it affects them as well. Waste management, anything dealing with that. Right now, we're having an influx of residents concerned about their waste management bill because of a state mandated law. I just think that they weren't prepared, and preparing them for these state mandates, it's still not probably going to be easy for a lot of our residents, but it'll at least help and cushion the blow when the mandates are due. We just need to inform them. Transparency is definitely what we need for our residents.
How can the public help you and the city be successful if you're reelected?
I look to the citizens of California City I'm the voice on the dais, but they're the voice in their communities. I want to go out and I want to communicate and talk with them, but I need them to be I understand the frustration. I want them to be open to talk to me. Let me know what's going on. If I can't resolve it, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to advocate. I'm going to put bugs in people's ear. Like, this is what needs to happen. This resident complained about this. I just want them to voice their concerns to me. Let's have a healthy conversation about it. Let's get something done. I'm never the type to sit. I've never stood on, I know the election process is a popularity thing sometimes. I've never stood on popularity, but I stand on business. So when things happen, I never let anyone think that I'm not doing anything, because I'm always doing something. Regardless of how small a person thinks it is, I am definitely one that will act on a complaint, a concern, because I look at my family is your family. I have a husband, I have a mother-in-law here, father-in-law, my mother, she represents for me the seniors in the community. So I just want them to voice their concerns to me, so that way we can move forward. And how to move forward is, again, I can't assume. Some things, yes, you can assume we need. We need our financial sustainability. But to get to the hearts and the homes of our community, I need them to voice their concerns.
Describe the changes and improvements that, if you get reelected, we can expect to see in 4 years.
So I most definitely want to address more public safety issues that we have here. Traffic lights. I know we've had a few accidents on the boulevard. I want to address those and making sure we're following up with Public Works to get those traffic lights, stop signs, community relations, senior enrichment, mental and health wellness. I need to see that our community is doing well mentally and physically. I also want to focus on just getting things for the community, more events going out here. Something that not only our school age kids, but I think sometimes we get caught up in the school age children that are, under 12, but we don't focus on the high school students. We need to get things going for them. I know the skate park is going to be good, but there's a lot of students a lot of kids that don't skate. So what can we do to make sure every single part of our community is thriving? We need to attack all of those areas so that we can be okay collectively, instead of just attacking one group at a time and just providing for one particular group. We need all of our groups to thrive out here. That's the only way we're gonna get things done, is addressing everyone and every concern. And like I said, even though we probably can't get to everyone, we still need to show them that we're doing something. And I think by doing something, it'll increase their trust in the community and their trust in the government. And I definitely want their trust in me.
Well, finally, why don't you tell the voter why they should vote for you?
My name is LaShelle Cooper. You should vote for me. I bring a balance to City Council. I bring honesty. I have the morals, the integrity. I never shy away anyone. I just want you to vote for me. See that the work that I have done, the work that I am doing, it's from a place in my heart where I'm deeply passionate about it. So please vote for me, November 5th, 2024.
On behalf of I Love Cal City, we want to thank you. And please get out and vote for your candidate November 5th.
Thank you.